Session 4, and we're going to see all things Facebook at ICEEfest. We're going to see how we're going to maximize the impact of Facebook marketing for our brands or for our clients. On the first part, we have a deep dive into Facebook's marketing products and how they can be combined effectively to reach marketing and business objectives from Facebook itself. So first, I will call here, and he's here, Marcin Brush, Head of Central and Eastern Europe, Facebook.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. All right, so some of you might have seen a bit of yesterday's opening where we were talking about creativity and some principles, what it takes to really get the most of the brand building. There will be just one or two reminders of the messages, but there will be way more, and we will go slightly deeper, and there will be more examples of how to drive business objectives. So again, what we were talking yesterday was the success shouldn't be about fans, just clicks, engagement rate, or interactivity rate. These things are important, but this is not everything. Business objectives ultimately is the key, because whatever we do needs to drive business. Discussions that we have with clients and our agencies, partners, quite often is, what exactly is your business objective? And by defining it, this is like key opening, because before we pull the trigger, before any dollar is spent, before any work is started, before any coffee is on the table and you start working, this is the first thing which we encourage everyone to start with. So to move on and to deliver the business objectives, this is a brief reminder of the 4 stages of how companies, how brands, how organizations use Facebook. And as you can see, these are stages of development, starting from the very basic. That was pretty much everyday work of many companies a few years back, starting from social listening and the reputation management. Very passive. Very passive when we're talking, trying to understand the sentiments about brands, what people are sharing, but we don't do much about it. These times are gone. Then the next stage, social advocacy and influence. This is the stage where still many companies and many brands are today, and they should move on. This is the stage where we engage into this race of fans. The more fans, the better. So the prouder social media manager has more fans. Fans are important. But this is definitely not the end of the game. This is just the beginning. And the way we measure success is primarily fans' engagement, and people who spend the most time are social champions. There are many social champions here in the room, I believe. But to make sure we get more, we need to engage with the brand managers and try to measure brand health and incremental sales. We will show you today 2 cases, 2 examples of brands, what they did, how they did, what was the process, and what was the outcome. And then, of course, there is the next stage, but this goes even further when we try to use the platform as an e-commerce platform and the CRM tool. Not everyone needs it, but many companies do, and do it very well. So these principles, identical as we touched yesterday, will go slightly deeper. Nothing new here. Driving business objectives remains the same. And you know, some may say, even a CEO of General Motors once said, the recipe for success is very, very simple. All you need is just 3 things. You need the right strategy, you need the right people, and the right execution. So this is a very simple recipe, very simple to say, very difficult to execute. And just like driving business objectives on Facebook has the same principles that successful marketing has, which is creative, reach, and measurement. So let's go slightly deeper on the creative part. The magic of social content still, which is, there are no many secrets for the social champions. There are still quite a bit of need and capability needs among brand people on how exactly we should get the most out of Facebook. And basically what we touched yesterday, but we should definitely try to find even more examples, more inspirational cases, what it means to really have excellent creative. And this is a great news for all the creative agencies and all the marketers, that great creative on Facebook is just great creative. So if you think about these examples from Nescafe and from Oreo, These things, these posts, no matter the language, they could all exist as an excellent print advertising. Them alone, this is just a good creative, which is on equity, on character, has stopping power, doesn't have excessive amount of text. Your thumb on your smartphone will just stop. You will gently smile, you will think, and then you move on. And interaction after interaction, post by post, you start thinking about the brands differently and your connection with the brands changes. Only if the creative is good. Now, of course, it needs to be persuasive, and what often is a trap is that we define success as amount of clicks and likes, and of course, every post we always feel pride, and we see that phenomenal posts have excellent response. But we need to understand that it's not that the most clicks means the better job for the brand. I will not talk about the cats, which I was talking about yesterday, but we need to understand, as Nielsen has proved, clicks don't equal sales. So we should not fight for clicks at any cost, and we should not try to just be a bait and a trap to encourage clicking, because this is the image, this is how our brain works. We react to the visuals much faster than on text, and this visual stays in our brain. And this is the key, this is where the effort should go, to be remembered, to be recalled, and to change the way we think about the brand, rather than necessarily being clicked. And a great creative often brings clicks anyway. What is also, of course, important is the battle is completely different, and there is new creative canvas area available for us. No wonder there were limits and doubts whether this year, is it really going to be the year of mobile or not? Now, if you see at what is the opportunity for the creative agency and for the brand, brands need space. Brands need areas to really shine, to tell the story. And how can you tell the story on something that is so small, like here on your left side? Now it's not an issue, and this makes a huge difference. If you look about tablets, then it's pretty much like a print ad. Now, going slightly deeper than we had a chance yesterday, quite often we talk about video. Brands love videos, and if you want to create awareness, no wonder there were almost 6 decades of uninterrupted fascination with television, and it will continue because we have such a big screen, there is emotion, there is sound. It's much easier to elicit emotions when we have a video. So video matter, and we like videos. So quite often what we see is, okay, how can we use our TV production, how can we use our video content, or how can we film our event and show it to the millions who didn't participate in an event, but want to see our brand in action. So there are 2 ways you can do it. You can use the native Facebook, or you can use a link to YouTube or any other page where there's lots of video. And in many cases, discussions that we have is why it matters to use a Facebook embedded video, and why is it better. And there are a few facts and few opinions. In many cases, what we hear is that putting it, of course, on YouTube is a great thing because it makes our country looking better. This is what my management is checking. The more views, the better. My scorecard shows it's more views on YouTube, so it's great. However, there are some consequences. And for those of you who are very close to these things, it's worth to be aware that the image, an offsite video, is the first big difference. And what it actually means. Well, there are many implications. Let's take a look. Time is one of big differences. This is an example from the entertainment, where obviously entertainment business is using videos heavily. It opens much faster. And as it is, our patience and our attention span, as we use mobile, is getting shorter and shorter. Let's face it, we all have attention span shorter than if we were 4 years old. We have no time. If you need to wait, you just skip, you go. This is one of the implications, but there are many more regarding also CTRs and how much we learn actually about the video. And here there is a good news, and actually you're one among the first who will hear about some introductions of new features that will help you understand how people engage with your videos. Because putting it as a native video on Facebook not only makes it much bigger, not only it will increase your CTR, not only it will open much faster, but you can also see right now what everyone has been asking for, which is percentage of views at various moments throughout your video. And you can see what are the weak and the strong parts of your TV copy or video or event of any other video. There are many videos that will never be able to be aired on television. And the example, which probably you might be all aware of, is a game before the game video of beats, 5 minutes long. So this is also the way how you can see what are the points where you start losing your audience. It can have impact on the creative part. There's more, of course. You can see the demographics of who watched your videos with the data breakdowns, average time watched, and how many people watched at least 3 seconds, something that obviously was a standard you've been waiting for. So this is also evolving. So there is more and more innovations coming very soon in this area. So definitely there is more and more reasons why you should look at this tool, because video and image are powerful tools to deliver your brand objectives. And quite often, the number one objectives which many clients start with is awareness. How can we create awareness? Whether this is new launch, whether this is extension, whether this is response for our competition. Or maybe we have a budget cut. What can we do about it? Or maybe the fiscal year is closing and we need to still deliver our business objectives. If you have content to show, then there is definitely a way for you to reach millions. And how to create this reach, I'll pass to Sebastian. Sebastian Szmigielski will tell you more about the reach.
Thanks, Marcin. So I will try to tell you something more about how to leverage reach. At Facebook, we don't have cookies, we have people. And that's extremely important difference between any other media supplier and us. Why? Because cookies doesn't mean anything. If someone is saying to you, hey, we have 8 million people reached, those are not people, those are cookies. And if you have, Vanina, 3 mobile phones, or maybe 2, you're gonna have 2 cookies as a reach, not 2 people. So basically, 2 people. At Facebook, you have actually unique reach. So this is something different. Your cost per reach is way, way cheaper than with any other publisher, because we actually report the unique reach of people. So whenever you go into the reporting, check this out. So what kind of reach we have in Romania? We have over 7 million people. And almost 5 million of them are on mobile devices. This is something huge. So if you would like to leverage this reach, you can use a mobile device, and that's why we've been talking so much about mobile, because of 5 million people. Remember that applications doesn't work on mobile, so you have to keep this in mind whenever you try to spend another 100K or another 5,000 euros on an application. Applications doesn't work on mobile. So keep that in mind. So how to leverage this reach? Because everyone can bring you a reach, but Facebook have unique people, as I said on the beginning, not cookies. So you can address them. And I'm going to show you an example of a campaign that we've run for a beer brand in Poland. It's called Książęce. And Książęce leveraged people on Facebook and what they like on Facebook and splitted their target audience of 12 million people in Poland into smaller parts. So we addressed totally different creative for people that like chocolate. We addressed totally different creative for people that like Game of Thrones or like computer graphics, and many, many more. So we split the whole target audience into small parts and then prepared a tailor-made creative for all those people. The response was incredible, and I strongly encourage you to do the same. We're talking about targeting on a daily basis, but this is how you can leverage Facebook targeting at scale. Because usually when you're targeting, you're using scale, you're losing scale. On Facebook, you have those two things all together. So how others leveraged reach? This is Wendy's from US. I know you're going to say, hey, US, we're a different country. We always hear we are a different country. The same marketeers in Poland. But I wanted to show you something, what Wendy's did. Wendy's used Facebook to increase the reach of their TV campaign, because there are people that were very difficult to catch on a TV. For example, myself, I don't have a TV at all. So we measured with Nielsen how much incremental reach Facebook built on top of their TV campaign, and those have been millennials, so people that were the hardest to reach on a TV. And they created amazing campaign. They leveraged people-generated content, user-generated content into something fantastic. And I'm going to show you this right now.
Yes, I am on board with Wendy's pretzel bun. Hashtag bring it. Fireworks in my mouth hole. Well done, America.
So why I showed you this one? Because usually whenever someone is asking, hey, we should use user-generated content, it's ugly. Because people are taking ugly photos. What they did is basically they used the user-generated content, put it into the studio, and then created a fantastic content of it, then boosted with our premium products like reach blocks and target blocks, and created a huge campaign as similar as the one that they had on TV. So they leveraged Facebook and Twitter. Our creative shop department helped them to build it. I think it's fantastic idea to bring this user-generated content into life. So right now, the reach on the TV when we have a summer, almost, I mean, it drops suddenly. Why? Because you don't take 50-inch plasma to the beach. The first screen during summer is going to be your mobile phone. So we're saying that if you want to reach people on the beach, probably the best place to reach them is a mobile phone. And you can leverage this Facebook reach with almost 5 million people at Facebook in Romania, and show with your mobile target block or mobile reach block and basically feed them your products. For example, can you imagine you're a Pepsi or an ice cream producer, and you're showing straight away on a mobile phone people like your product, like an ice cream or a package of a cold Coke. This is real-time marketing at scale. Gordon Gekko once said, you remember Wall Street? There was a movie, and he said, the most valuable thing for business is information. When they remade this movie, they said, the most valuable for business is time. For marketeers, is a prime time. Nowadays, because of the mobile, prime time is all the time, every day and everywhere. Keep this in mind, because people, whenever they were doing something, watching your TV commercial, or maybe not, they're doing something productive on your mobile screen. So being on different screens, as people are saying, multi-screening is happening right now. Actually, in Romania, you're going to say it doesn't happen in Romania. But did you know that 70% of Romanians are accessing Facebook on mobile? It's exactly the same as in France. So you're not far away from any other country. So the red light should pop up into your mind that if you're not on mobile, you're not doing the right job. I'm going to show you an example what Pepsi did last year with their campaign in Poland called Pepsi Challenge. Pepsi leveraged Facebook and mobile reach blocks and target blocks to show up on a mobile screens during summer. As I said, that was the first screen during the summer months for Pepsi because they were targeting also younger demographics. And this is campaign from Poland, not from UK. This is my client. And we prepared a case study with them. And if you're going to check how much there is increase of brand preference, over 14 points measured by Nielsen, this is something that you should keep in mind. There is also other brand metrics that have been moved. You can see them over there. This case study is actually the first time showed online because today we to the people because today we actually get this sign off by a client. So it's going to be published tonight. You can check it out and read about this. Another case study is Cactus, Nestle Poland. What they did is they used Facebook to target 13 to 17-year-olds, and the sales increased by 50%. I'm going to show you a video case study of Nestle from Poland with Cactus ice cream.
The campaign was aimed to the group of 13 to 17-year-olds. The main target was to increase the sales of Cactus ice cream. Considering this group's activity in social media, we created a Facebook page for young people who identify with the brand's values. In this way, the Republic of Cactus was created, a place for fans to express themselves and share their passions. The internet communication was accompanied by a TV campaign, sampling in seaside holiday resorts, and a show produced in cooperation with Viva Polska. The campaign resulted in a sales increase of 50%, over 100,000 Facebook fans, as well as record results of the premium campaign. The post with the spot was seen by more than 2 million people, with a CTR of 7%.
As you've seen, client measured sales coming from Facebook. The one and only thing that they did in comparison to last year campaign of Nestle Cactus was that they included Facebook in their media mix. And that was it. And they had this amazing results that they share with us. So please don't try to measure clicks, likes, and CTRs. Try to focus on brand metrics and sales metrics that actually matter. So I'm going to pass this to Marcin, that's going to tell you about case study from Nestle, from Germany.
Germany. In Germany, of course, everything has to be tested. Data is very important, and it's natural. Every time you start something new, you want to make sure that any discontinuity is uncomfortable. And sometimes, what really brings a difference is when data comes. We were talking with some of you yesterday that quite often we see this effect of no data, no problem. But the truth is, if your business is on fire, you don't want to mess. Like, don't mess with success. Or, yeah, Marcin, but don't fix something that is not broken, right? And that's good. We all want to have business that grows and has no problem. The trouble begins when we start seeing there is a slowdown, or things get more expensive, or we don't grow as much as we want to, and we need some intervention. And we see many organizations who are trying, of course, to cut the budget. Sometimes it's about much more brutal interventions in an organization, because the growth needs to come and the pressure increases. And this is where the value of data becomes important. And a few years back, what global CMO Procter & Gamble said is there are two biggest challenges in front of FMCG, which is private labels and digital adoption. So when the data arrived on private labels, which is about scanning data, what happens in the shops after you have in-store promotion, immediately it turned out that decisions made in store are hugely important. So there were lots of new measures, metrics, and what happened immediately, huge chunk of TV budgets flight to Carrefour and others. This was a big blow for TV stations, of course, a few years ago. and mine went to in-store. And why? Because there is data. So the more data we have, the more comfortable we see, and we all feel with what is happening, how we should shift our budgets. So I want to tell you a bit about the measurement that's all the tools and the ammunition that is available on Facebook. The beauty of internet, of course, is lots is very well measurable. And if you can see, there is a case of Nestle. Nestle in Germany, this is just a few months old example. Germany is not that distant in this area. And actually, if you think about the reach and how you access a mobile, there is definitely not a gap in Romania versus this market. So what was the story? Nothing is worse than just throwing a few numbers without any context. So here's the story. Nestle has a product called Maggi. Well respected, everyone knows it. Most of people uses it, just a little drops sometimes, from time to time. The trouble begins with growth, because there were many households led by a bit younger consumers. There were light TV watchers, how to reach them, how to make sure that there is an extra consumption, how to be also useful. So there was an insight, of course, that these consumers quite often struggle with making sure that their kids eat properly. For those of you who have kids, I have two, it's a bloody nightmare to make them eat vegetables. So this is one of the challenges. And of course, Maggi and Nestle is a brand that tried to be useful, but on the other side, there was commercial objective. There was, it was about awareness, and of course, consideration, and of course about sales. But sales on Facebook was not perceived just like e-commerce sales. Click and go to the e-commerce side, because people would probably not buy lots of Maggi on the e-commerce site, right? Like no one is investing in television expecting that you drop everything and run to Carrefour. This is not how we expect. Sometimes we think like this, but it doesn't work like this, right? So they wanted to test what's the efficiency of investing in Facebook. Maybe Facebook can help. So here are the top lines, and in a second I'll show you a video, because you don't need to trust me, but it's much better to listen to the client. Here are the top lines. 19% of campaign-driven sales came from Facebook, from only 8% of total initiative budget. This is attributable sales, which was measured by GfK. And what was important for them is Facebook helped to reach the light viewers and the light and medium consumers. You know, there are heavy users, which are the dream consumers, because they stand for most of the sales. But growth will never come from them. How much Maggi you can use, right? So the growth needs to come from those who just consume a little bit. And importantly, almost 2 million people saw the Facebook ads, and they never saw TV ads. And this was big. Because what turned out to them is that Facebook was the cheapest way to reach those consumers who are the most difficult and most expensive to reach on television. TV was there. TV was important. TV will be important. However, to generate growth, you need to go extra mile with the reach. And this is where Facebook was helpful for them. And of course, they were calculating the ROI. ROI was important. It was 2.5 better ROI on Facebook than television. And it was not Facebook data. This is the data of Nestle and GfK, and they were open to share it. Now, of course, we can say, Marcin, yes, this is all nice, but TV is way cheaper in Central Europe. This is true. Of course it is. So probably if we were making the same exercise here in Romania, the ROI would be a bit lower, but still it's bloody competitive. So let's see about the details. Let's listen to what clients said.
At Nestle we have a large portfolio of brands, and Maggi is one of the most important and most successful brands in our portfolio in Germany and also worldwide.
Maggi's always been a brand that's been very close to the consumer. We started our Facebook page 2 years ago. It's nice to talk to 80,000 people on the web and have a constant dialogue, but there had to be more. So we asked a question, is there a greater reach to Facebook? And set up a campaign to try out how Facebook paid media influence our sales and who is reached by Facebook paid media in general. So we tried several images of recipes, of tips, but also poll ads and images from the TV script. And we took the story into Facebook that actually had a lot of advice and a lot of practical tips on how mothers can actually, in a playful way, bring more vegetable on the table. The results were quite amazing. We reached close to 13 million people, 30% of the German online population. So it's quite a significant reach we were able to get. The second surprise is, yes, you can actually move people with Facebook paid media. Although it was only 8% of the budget allocated to Facebook, moved or was responsible for 19% of the sales. Facebook generated a 2.5 higher ROI than TV. This study actually showed us there is a significant group of people that we are not able to reach by classical media, which are kind of hooked to the digital world. And it was close to 2 million people that were only reached by Facebook ads. It's not a niche media anymore. It's big, and you can reach a lot of people with it.
Facebook could stimulate sales. That shows me that Facebook is not just a communication tool, but that it really has a business sense, and that is a new view on Facebook for us. One of the major success factors was that all agencies as a team worked very closely together, that we could optimize the campaign on a daily basis and get the most out of it.
We will go on and learn and try to build Facebook into our campaign mix.
I mean, to be honest, I'm really proud that we got these results.
So that's the story from Germany. Product that is not that easy to sell, right? And of course, it's not Red Bull, and not everyone has events like Stratos. And it worked for them very well. Now, needless to say, this was a big news for the client, for Nestle in Germany and also in Europe. So now, what also the implications, and what big global players have been doing for quite a long time in our region, and increasingly also here in Romania, is how can we build on this knowledge? How can we build on these measurements? So here, what you can see, if I ask the question, who has enough money to be on air on television all year long, I expect there will be very few hands raised, right? This is just not realistic. And even more, if we have a rough quarter, quite often what we may expect is that budgets are being cut. But then it can hit our metrics, like what's our top of mind awareness. And we do not want this measure to go down, right? So there are a few ways which also are worth noting, is how you can use Facebook not only to generate incremental reach during the initiative, but also in between initiatives, and create much more mileage to your content. So if you look at a very basic media plan of how you are present on television, there are gaps. There are gaps. It's very difficult to be on the time unless you are really generously equipped telco company. Probably you have gaps, and this is where Facebook can help to avoid these drops in top of mind awareness, because if your awareness is dropping, it's hard to have consideration and even harder to have conversion and sales. So how can you grow shares? So this is where indeed, in a very cost-efficient way, you can secure and bridge your heavy apps or bursts that you have on television. And why is it also important? You can say, yeah, Marcin, but my brand has like 80,000 to maybe 300,000 fans. It's a lot. It's a subject of pride for many of us. It costs a lot of sweat and coffee and work on optimization to get these fans. But is it enough to really have commercial success? What is important is, and I give an example of FMCG. Why? Because this category is the most data-driven quite often, and they rely on measurements, and the results are seen very quickly. If you do a good job on creative and reach, and if price is not a barrier, you will see the results very quickly. So this is important fact we should all understand, that we cannot only focus on our fans, because what happens is 99% of your consumers are not your fans. maybe they are not your fans yet. Many of them will not be your fans, but they're your consumers. So when we talk about reach, we cannot just define success as reaching our fans. There are fans, friends of fans, but also, as Sebastian was mentioning, we talk about 5 million of them being on mobile and more in total usage of Romania. So definitely the reach needs to go beyond. And here is what we see, that indeed this is not enough to focus on them. Just like you heard on Nestle in Germany, just talking with 80,000 of your ambassadors, of your lovers, of your, no matter how you call them, these are phenomenal consumers. Many of them came first to like your page. When there is a party and there's argument, they will defend your brand. This is fantastic. The thing is, they will not deliver growth. So you need more of them. So you can say, yes, but how the hell are you measuring this stuff? So you can see this is an example of Nielsen brand effect study. And this is something which is, of course, it's a third-party measurement. And this is good, it's third-party. So you don't need to really rely on your client or your own department. Sometimes, basically, it's impossible. And you don't need to rely on Facebook data or Facebook departments. You just have a separate company that has lots of experience and tools to make objective, solid study. This study is available in Romania. So what we do is, of course, there is a control group that is created dynamically. It's about ads being displayed to users and polls that are appearing next day in an ad context. And this polling is comparing what is the difference in ad recall, ad awareness, and purchase intent between people who have seen your creative and people who didn't see it. So you can measure what's the impact. And of course, purchase intent and ad recall is important, because if you didn't remember, how can you be aware? How can you consider purchasing? You will not. And if there is no purchase intent, the advertising doesn't work. So this is a very simple way to measure, is your creative really pushing an envelope, and is it really making more shoppers put your product into the shopping basket. And we strongly encourage you to give it a shot and try doing it. And some of you are interested, and of course we are open to testing also in local markets. We are having quite a list of these studies in the region, and any skepticism is natural at the beginning, and you will see when the purchase intent and ad recall is increasing. If you have a good creative and reach, you will see the business results, and more cases like we have seen on Pepsi from Poland or Nestle from Germany. So this is the measurement which is the most commonly used. Of course, there is more. What Nestle used is a media efficiency panel, which is a bit more sophisticated. But I'm also confident that there are many others, sometimes even simpler ways that your own companies or your own or yourself can do to test the impact. It all depends on category. Today we focused on FMCG. Most of you probably work for this category, and this is where the most heated discussions about Facebook are taking place. And quite often FMCGs are paving the way for others to follow. So this was the reason why we focused on this category. But of course, a lot of this is transferable to telcos, to automotive, financial services, and many other folks who care about the same objectives, which is building awareness, consideration, and then conversion, because ultimately this is the only reason why we are all being paid for working on Facebook. Whether it's a fan page, optimization, your brief from the client, everyone in the room is supposed to deliver the business objectives. So this is way bigger and way more important than just fans. So your path forward. What is indeed important is what will separate good from great here in the room is not what you understand, what you believe, but what you will do about the things which we were talking about. And if you look around, if you look on your left and on your right, you will see some of your competition, some of your friends, some of your buddies from company, some of your agencies. And what is important is what you will do about it on Monday, because probably it will be another heated weekend we will have time to reflect on it. But my message to you is act on it. It's important to follow your consumers. Invest where the eyeballs and the time spent is. This is not our choice. Consumers make a decision. Marketing's job is about stopping the right consumers, getting their attentions, and make them think about our brands as we want. So the time spent and their attention should be reflected in our media plans. And just by updating the same Excel sheet that remembers 2005 is a strategy of continuity, and this is not a good strategy. Reach all of your consumers, not just fans, because fans alone will not double your business. If your client or you want to double your business, go beyond. Plan Facebook in support for your brand's priorities, and we are to help, and there is also Think Digital, whom we work with, to help in bringing these objectives to life. And never forget about good creative. Nothing has changed since the time of the madman. Now, of course, there are not only madmen and mathmen, but the truth is good creative, good storytelling, good copywriting pays out. You would never save money. You wouldn't go for the cheapest guy who is making tattoo, right? You wouldn't. So, no matter if you respect Dolly Parton or not, what she said is that we cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails. And I will leave you with this message, because indeed there are many things we can decide, but some things change so fast that it's like in this very simple and also very American book, Who Moved My Cheese? The future and the success depends on those who will be really acting on these things we hear about and we heard about yesterday. So I suggest that during the next break, you really spend a moment and put down all the things which you commit to do on Monday morning, because this can define the success of the next months, quarters, and your career and fun that you will have together with your agency and your client, celebrating their success. And this is what I encourage you to do. Thank you very much.
We are going to take questions in, yeah, thank you. So, okay, so we're going now to see and to listen to the people that are on the ground here on Central and Eastern Europe. And first one goes Andrei Ursuleanu, who is Sales Director, Think Digital, Romania. We'll see case studies and insights.
Thank you, thank you. Da. Okay, so I'm going to present today a very short and in the same time very interesting case studies from Vodafone Romania. It's one of their most recent campaigns that had in April and in May this year. The campaign is named in Romanian Toată lumea pe internet. So what made this campaign so special that is transformed into a case study and is shown to you here today is, let's take it one by one. First of all is the objective of the campaign. So they came with a brief necessary, the need for reach was their main objective of the brief. Being an awareness campaign, of course, the need for very quality, massive, impressive reach was very important. Reach that needed to be, that is useful to deliver their message which was, by the way, to bring everybody online. That is a message that is actually a reminder of the promise they made when they launched this campaign. Of course, being a telecom company, communicating through technology and sharing connection was also vital to be part of this campaign. And last but not least, the importance of communicating through a video ad. So our solution for this was to prepare premium formats, and we ran 2 premium formats in 2 consecutive days on desktop and mobile, 2 different targets, a broader one and a narrow one. And this is what came up. So in the first day we delivered a rich block, that it's a video ad in the newsfeed of Facebook. It ran on the 14th of April. It was a video ad. It was delivered to desktop and mobile, to males and females, 13 to 65. And it touched everybody, almost everybody, that logged in that particular day. The other format was the logout experience format. Ran the second day. It was a smaller group target. It was from 18 to 65, also males and females, and touched almost everybody that logged out in that particular day. In terms of results, this is what we get. So for example, for each block, the reach in that day was almost 4.2 million people. Again, people, not cookies or other proxies or IPs, people. And in terms of action, we got almost 95,000 action, of which almost 80,000 were plays of video. So it's very important from the point of view of awareness or campaign awareness indicators. For the logout experience format, we got almost 1.5 million on the particular target that we showed there. And in terms of action, we got more than 50,000 clicks in one day, of which 95% were play video. But this is just usual numbers for the premium campaigns, and no advertiser should wonder if they receive this in their campaigns they run on Facebook premium formats. But if you go a little deeper with our analysis and see what our video ad performed in the Facebook newsfeed, we get something like this. So out of the total 95 actions, almost 85 actions were video plays. And from the total 95 actions, almost 12,000 were likes of the page post. If you look at the performance of the CTR, we got 1%, that is the desktop CTR. That is, if you compare it to online average, for example, in Romania it's 10 times bigger, where the benchmark is around 0.08 or 0.1. And you see the mobile benchmark, CTR, it's 3 times bigger than the desktop. If you look at the performance of the CTR against age groups, we see that younger age groups receive more reviews, but older age groups drive a higher CTR, more than double. If you look at the CTR against geographic area, you see that Bucharest received the most reviews, but the higher CTR was received by Constanța, but not far from the other big cities shown there. If you look at gender split of CTR, we see that men draw 50% more in terms of ratio CTR than women. So it's 2.5 against 1.7. So these are very important data for the client that show him that how different groups of Facebook population received an answer to his message. But at the same time are very important and prove once again the value of our premium formats. So this is it. Told you it would be very short.
And now from Hungary, Ako Sabo, who is our country manager for Hungary Think Digital. Thank you.
Hello, nice meeting you. I'm glad to be here. You have a very, very beautiful city. Thank you for the clicker. So I would like to bring you a case study from Hungary, which is a recent case study in a recent month. I'm sure you aware of some similar companies what this case study is about. Do you have any classified ad websites? As far as I know, you have Okazi and OLX, if I'm sure. So this case study is from this industry. We worked with Classified Media Group. The brand name is jófogás.hu, which translates to English to bargain. And this is one of the biggest websites of such. They are actually in heavy competition with OLX in Hungary. So actually they mainly concentrate on brand metrics, awareness, reach, and frequency. So they highly use TV advertisement. and the objective was to bring top-of-mind awareness online. So to give you some of the details of the campaign, the creative agency was Okego, the media shop was Carnation, part of Group M. And they actually, Jófogás.hu just changed its platform to communicational platform, and they started using a singing mascot called Jojo, which is a funny thing, and Jojo actually means money in English. And they actually developed this platform as the messages are funny, and Jojo is the center of character of all the communication, and try to interpret the key brand messages through the spots in a funny way. So the solution, the solution, the advertiser wanted to be top of mind, to bring the key messages. So we actually, and had a very strong platform with this new singing mascot. So we choose to have a video format online, which have very good synergies with TV. And the specialty of this campaign was that we wanted to have the highest engagement possible online, and we wanted to find the best time to deliver the campaign when the users could be most engaged to the message. So actually we chose Valentine's Day, when the users are sent nice presents to each other, the users send love songs to each other, but we didn't want it to make it that seriously. But we thought that this could be a nice timing for the video message. And the other thing is that to really be able to engage the users, and I try to rewind this. No, okay. So we choose a special call to action, which I will show to you in the next slide, that which is very important. Marcin and Sebastian and all other speakers already told you about a good creative is just a good creative. In such surfaces on Facebook, where video advertising is not a push model, when you want to see a video content, and before or after or in the middle of that content it is interrupted and you have to see a video advertisement, that's the push model. But on Facebook you have the content or the snapshot of the video ad in front of you, and you are the one who decide whether I want to consume that content and see that ad or not. So the snapshot or the picture of the content, the ad, was very important. What is it about? So we chose a very simple and short call to action, that check out my new Valentine song for you. And to have top of mind, we suggested big and VIP placements with premium products, which offers a widest reach. So we offered the logout experience, which you can saw in the previous example too. And as these ad sites are not really only for all the audience, so we used even targeting on these wide reach ad units. So we targeted 21 plus on the logout screen, and we also used the newsfeed reach block on mobile, because as you know, the logout experience is not available on mobile screens, so we didn't want to miss the people who accesses Facebook through their mobile handset. So the other ad unit was a newsfeed reach block, mobile targeted 25 plus. And you can see the spot as well, which is in Hungarian, but actually the singing mascot is a crazy little thing who actually is quite annoying and funny at the same way, at the same time, just want to sell everything in the house. So the key creative element is that to be funny and to be grab the attention.
Eladom a táskám, eladom az órám, eladom a bringám, eladom a lámpám, eladom a mikrom, eladom az ingám, eladom a mobilom, eladom mindent, de az eszemet nem.
Legyen észnél, keressen többet, adjon el gyorsabban. Hirdessen ingyen a jófogás.hu-n.
Okay, so that was the creative, and you can see the results on this slide. As I mentioned, that this was the creative at the first page, and you can see the call to action embedded in the creative, which is, I think, a very important element of the results. So the logout experience reached 1.2 million people in one day. To put it in context, Facebook in Hungary has 4.8 million users monthly. The online population in Hungary is 6.5 million people, so lower than in Romania. So in percentage-wise, this is a huge number. And we reached those people with a frequency of 2.5, and it generated 86,000 video plays. On mobile, yeah, one important thing. We actually measured in a study the brand recall of this campaign. I have to note that this was a, let's say, not that complicated study as Marcin just talked about, but we actually had a focus group of 70 people who are daily Facebookers, and the people who saw the ad, not just played, but clicked on it, but just saw the ad, 95% of those people actually remember the brand, not the mascot, not the competitor brand, but actually the brand which they saw. On mobile, the ad reached more than 650,000 people, and it generated 19,000 video plays with a frequency of close to 1. And on overall, interesting to see that the overall reach was 1.7 million. So to put mobile into the game actually generated 500,000 as an additional reach to the desktop users, because these are reach of people, not cookies, as it's already said. And video plays was overall 105,000, which was an outstanding 6% unique CTR. So 6% of the people we reached actually clicked on the video and watched it. So this was the Hungarian example. As what we saw and what is really good, that this campaign was nominated for the Hypnosis Advertisement Award this year and won the Best Integrated Campaign Award. And another thing, that the client is actually in 5 months run 6 instances of similar campaigns on Facebook, because the results were so encouraging for them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Akos, for the Greek football player here in the left. Thank you. And now, Petya Pandulova, she's Senior Account Manager from Think Digital Bulgaria.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about a case study that we did with the UniCredit Bull Bank in Bulgaria. Actually, the case was in the beginning of the year. It was for 3 months, January to March. What we wanted to communicate was that this year was really important for UniCredit Bull Bank. They were turning 50 years old in Bulgaria, so it was their half-a-century anniversary. They wanted to start the year really positively, and we used different applications on Facebook in order to get reach, to communicate those applications and to engage the audience. Basically, we were talking about creative throughout the 2 days here, and when we created Bobank, really decided to go with simple but powerful creatives, and with media planning on Facebook using premium formats, we were able to actually get really good results. The two applications were my 2014 predictions, which was about people willing to share how they're viewing the upcoming year. So they were asked, whether they will expect more love, better friends, better party, and so on. The results from that application were used on their TVC, and from the application and the massive reach that they had, they found out that 60% of the Bulgarian audience was actually positively inclined towards 2014. The second application was Money Can Change Your Life Unless You Believe They Can. So with this one, they were trying to get really not banking and financial, but really fun, and to reach their consumers in a different way. What we did was, as I said, 2 month, actually January to March, multifaceted campaigns. We're using target blocks, reach blocks, and mobile target blocks, and we had actually 9 different bursts of creatives. We were trying to communicate banking products without really saying we were communicating banking products. We were trying to be really fun, so those were some of the creatives we were using. As you can see, they're pretty simple. They were, asking, are you going to be really good in love? If you invest in yourself, what are you going to receive, and so on. The campaign was planned actually for different bursts. As Martin was showing on the presentation, we had intense part for 2 weeks, and then it was a break, and then we had intense part with different creatives for 2 more weeks. In terms of results, we were getting great awareness, and we got to the right audience. We reached 2.16 million unique users on Facebook, given into consideration that Facebook in Bulgaria is 3 million users. So we reached 83% of the Bulgarians that were aged 18 plus, which was our target group, and that was 30% of the total population of the country. In terms of engagement, we had almost 75,000 actions that were taking on the Facebook fan page. So people were really engaging with the content. They were commenting, using the applications, liking and sharing it, which was the goal of the client. So with the Facebook formats, we actually were able to achieve something that was really, really good, and we increased the overall fan base and the engagement of the users. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. And now from Greece, Vanina Leka, who is the sales director of Think Digital Greece.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Nice meeting you 1 year after my first ICEEfest in Romania. I'm presenting with our Facebook partners for the second time this year. It's really a pleasure being here with you. The really scary thing about presenting with Facebook in a Facebook session is that nobody misses that. So the room is full, actually, but I'm going to do it. We're talking about marketing when we talk about Facebook, but I think Digital Greece will represent this today, a film named A Year in the Funnel. And the actor is our very best client, Wind. As you know about Facebook and you know about Think Digital, I will talk a little bit about our client, Wind, which is a Greek client. Actually, it's not a global one like Vodafone, but they are one of the 3 biggest telco companies in Greece. So Wind is a large company. they are facing a really hard competition. Their everyday headache is how to expand their market share, how to gain new customers, and what to do about their communication. Last year, when we were here in ICEEfest in Romania, presenting Facebook new product, which are the newsfeed, reach blocks, and logout experience, etc. Our client called, they had their big launch of the year, and asked our advice how to advertise on Facebook. So we actually sold all the new products, and they did it. So after that, Wind had some really helpful insights about Facebook advertising, apart from doing all the other media, because they run huge budget, not only on TV, on print, etc., but on digital advertising too. For the last 3 years, they are spending a lot of money in all digital platforms, doing share of voice deals and standing out of the crowd with creativity, with metrics that matters. But they were out of Facebook, actually. Since last year, they are really active. And this is a client that it's not talking about likes, or not only about likes. They needed other things from their Facebook advertising strategy. They were talking about conversions, they were talking about awareness, and they were talking about loyalty. So we had a meeting and they asked us, we're doing everything. We're doing display, we're doing creative, we're doing TV, we're doing print, and we're doing Google. And we're doing Google like crazy. Everything. Display network, search, remarketing, everything. So they asked me, be honest and tell me, is there anything that I'm not doing? And it took me like 1 second to answer, because they were not doing Facebook. And it was time for them to dive into the Facebook marketing funnel, along with us, of course. But we know swimming, we're Greek after all. So we talk about awareness, we talk about consideration, we talk about conversion, and we talked about loyalty. And we put all our elements near to their KPIs and their objectives and their goals. So when we talk about awareness, we talk about premium Facebook advertising, because you have reach, you have impact, we have awareness, and you have the best ever placement, the newsfeed. When we talk about consideration, we work on relevant content, on the interest-based targeting, on audience targeting, on the engagement, on being timely, focused, local, and of course, everything is about engaging our audience all the time with our content and creative. But what about conversion? Sales is the hardest thing. It is measured, and it has to be optimized all the way. So then we activated all our placement and all our tools. It was about retargeting, it was about platforms, optimization, and audiences. You all have heard, I think, about custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and all these audiences metrics. And loyalty. Loyalty is not so difficult, but you have to be always connected with your audience. So then we were advertising along with our client, of course, to their fan base and to their audiences with relevant content. And in this strategy, we needed all the placement and all the tools available. That's why we were talking about right-hand side ads, newsfeed ads, mobile, and logout experiences. So we have put all our case studies in the marketing funnel to be easier for you to understand how we allocate the need, the KPI, and the creative, and of course the metrics. The premium campaign was their launch of the W. It happened last year in summertime. We activated the mobile newsfeed reach block, the logout experience, and the newsfeed reach block at desktop. I don't know if you are familiar with this product, but they are the premium products of Facebook advertising, when you actually guarantee to your client reach, and they have the most premium placement of Facebook, the newsfeed, in order to engage with the audience and to talk to them during 1 day or 2-3 days. Of course, apart from the reach that it goes without saying that was huge, more than 50% of the GR online population reached in 24 hours. They expanded their fan base by 10% in only 1 day advertising. They had more than 4 million impressions with a reach more than 2.5 million. And the engagement rate was almost above 90%. Well, almost everybody engaged with that content. After that, they had 20% raise in their traffic, in their site traffic during those days, though the whole campaign was driving to their fan base and not outside Facebook. Then we activated some consideration campaign. They are the big sponsor of the classic marathon of Greece. I don't know if you know anything about that. It happens in November. Hundred thousands of people running for the good cause. So Win was running for Salonika Marathon, the second city of Greece, a page post ad. So this ad took place some few months ago, and they had very impressive results. But the result was much higher when they were local and they were based on interest. The second case is the Love campaign, or their free-to-go Cantada campaign for the Valentine's Day. They made an app inviting their users, or the users after all, Facebook users, to make a song and dedicate to their beloved one for the Valentine's Day. Of course, what is the higher engaged word of Valentine's? Love. So all the creative was about love and love words at this week. Their KPIs were fans, engagement, and of course links to the competition. Let's see the marathon ad. The engagement rate was higher than 100%. It was like 110%. Everyone acted on average engaged more than once with the ad. They either like or comment, they either like or share. This engagement rate became 90% higher when we targeted the campaign locally. It was not all Greece, it was Salonika only. And we did interest-based targeting. It was like 300% engagement rate, impressive. And the second one, above all the things that I mentioned about engagement and love, etc., and though we had more than 10,000 fans in 1 week running this campaign because was our main goal and KPI, the right-hand side ads are more performing when you need click outside Facebook. We had 300% more clicks to the site from the right-hand side ads, the smallest one. Okay, let's go to conversion. This is our main campaign, of course, running for 1 year now. And we are going to present the second burst of the campaign. This is a controversial, let's say, campaign running because their launch was last year. They had huge results, actually, and they reactivated the same offer like 3 to 4 months later. So they were not expecting any better results, but the different things was that though the offer was the same and they were hit by their competitor in the meanwhile, they changed the creative. The creative was really different, the messaging was really different, so the result was that we had 64.5% lower cost per sale than the first wave of the campaign. And the second result is that this 64.5% was driven mainly from mobile. Mobile cost was 80% lower in the second burst of the campaign. So when we use devices, we can lower our cost and optimizing all the time. And after all, since mobile works, we had another campaign that their main message was about mobile advertising. but we activated both devices, desktop and mobile. In one day, we had our first result. Desktop was not performing, so we switched to mobile already, and 100% of sales were from mobile activation. This is another campaign that they offer devices. The call to action is really great, is really to the point. The whole messaging is on screen, but we activated this campaign in their custom audiences too. So there were two findings actually. The first one is that when you target your audience, your custom audience is your customer base, the results can be 28 times better than we run the whole reach of Facebook audience. And the second one is that because the message is so clear and the call to action is so clear and to the point, we had 80% post-click conversion in this campaign, which means that we had shortened the path to conversion of our customer. And the last one is about loyalty. Actually, they are bringing the offline strategy and content to their online and Facebook campaigns, activating their real audience. These campaigns are targeted to fans and audiences, custom audience and lookalike audiences only. So in this case, as they know who their fans are, what are their interests, what are their ages, where they live, how old they are, etc., etc. These are all audiences inside coming from Facebook platform. They can be really targeted and they can be really successful and engaged with their messages. On average, on these campaigns, we have like 92 to 99% engagement rate. And of course, this is an ongoing partnership and strategy. And this is how we evaluate our campaigns to our client. This is how we present the results, the insight, and this is how we, of course, optimize their results every day and every time, and we maximize the value of our partnership being their Facebook strategy consultant for Greece. And thank you very much.
Okay, so now I want to call every one of you up here. Marcin, Marlena, Andrei? No, Andrei. Andrei. Now I want the girls to split, because, no, the two orange ones.
Yeah, she's my manager. She's like that every day.
I just want to have a beautiful panel. Okay. Thank you very much for all this interesting stuff that we've seen. Are there any first questions from the audience? Okay, so I'll go first. I just wanted to know, from all of you that see clients every day, clients and agencies, what is their greatest pain at the moment? What is what they ask you first thing when you meet them and when you speak about Facebook?
Okay, let's start. Usually the biggest concern is growth, which is external concern. And internal concern is there are so many different departments, sometimes silos, that changing the status quo and doing things differently is a tough one, because it often goes beyond the comfort zone. It requires some leadership internally. So quite often what we recommend is spend a little, learn a lot, and then scale up.
Anina?
So actually for us working with clients for the last 4 years with Facebook, their main concern is how they can do it, how they can understand what they are doing on their Facebook campaigns, how to evaluate, how to measure, and how to optimize these campaigns. But when you put it in their marketing understanding, then it's easy for them. They know that they have to have the right partners in advertising and in content management and in strategy in order to make it a successful advertising strategy as all the other things they're doing.
Okay, so in our sales meetings we receive this question. So for every investment they make in Facebook, they want two things. One is to almost guarantee the results, and the other thing is what is the perfect recipe. And to the first one is nothing a salesperson can do. It's always in the mix of the product and the mix of your marketing strategy. And the second one, there is always no perfect recipe. And you have to test, experiment, optimize, evaluate, and further on continue the campaign.
In Hungary, I experienced that the key challenge is that to change the mindset of the advertiser agency from being a niche and just social media service where you can gather friends and talk with your small group of people to treat Facebook as a mass media. So it's just a lot of education. On the other hand, that Facebook is just good for so many. It has so many usage. So it's really a challenge to identify with what should be done if you want to achieve your exact targets. So I think that's it has been a long way, but we still need to focus a lot on to simplify things and to educate, let's say, the market.
In Bulgaria, one of the things that we are helping our agencies and clients the most is planning, planning the right formats, and actually after that, measuring and explaining what goes through what, because it's more than new fans, it's more than number of clicks, it's actions, and it's going deeper in video views and application views and so on. So it's a lot of things that you can measure with Facebook in every single format. So we need to educate agencies and clients to look deeper into what reports actually show them.
So as we're running a little late, and if there's no other question, I just wanted to ask you. Where's the question?
I have a question for the guys from Facebook. You said that there are about 5 million Romanians accessing Facebook via mobile devices. My question is, what are they using? Are they using the web browser, or are they actually downloading the app and using it? What's the split between these two?
Yes, I don't have an exact number to say, but it's really the vast majority is, of course, through the applications, which implies pretty much smartphones, and it's very low percentage of application, which is very low level of traffic that comes from the site. There is more traffic in other regions, like in West Africa or East Africa, but in our region, there's really very, very little.
Okay.
Over here. Hello, thank you for the insightful presentations. I'm curious to find out how will a client be able to advertise on wearable devices using Facebook in the future, and I'm interested in your personal point of view if you cannot disclose any official pieces of information. Thank you.
Well, I guess for me, well, as far until now, Facebook does not own devices that can be called wearable, and I know there were lots of questions and excitement about hardware, which is Oculus. Those of you who didn't try, of course, you definitely should. It will blow your mind, but it's not belonging to Facebook yet. And looking at existing appliances like from Samsung or coming, what's happening from Apple, it's really too early to say. I wish I could reveal something, but it's it changes so quickly. Sometimes every Tuesday we're opening inbox and say, oh gosh, it's gonna be big. And you know, and we have, it's like trying to drink from the water hose. There's so much coming and using innovation. And our job, of course, is trying to simplify what is complex, because if this is demanding for us, let's think about poor clients who have so many other things to worry about. The future in this area is really yet to be defined. We're just learning as we speak, and we're working with of course, closely with the hardware manufacturers. Even they are just scratching the surface on how exactly this can change life. And outside of the existing tools, it is really way too early to say. Something tells me it's going to be very exciting, but I cannot tell more details at this point.
Okay, if you were to tell us one thing, if we are end clients, one more question?
Yeah, let's take that. Thank you for the presentation. For Facebook, the question is for Facebook. So, one of your most valuable advice was focusing on brand metrics and sales metrics more than likes and other things. Do you have any other suggestion or any other advice?
Yeah, that would be my question too. If you had to give us one small advice, each one of you, just a phrase, what would that be?
If I were to say, I would say everyone in the industry sees a change or things that don't work. Few people know how to act on it, and even less people act on it. So my advice is be the champion in your agency, in your team, with your director, with your CEO, and bring the change and lead the change, whether you call it test. Start bringing the change. Start bridging what you think your business should be doing from what your business is doing now. And if you do it, it can be amazing adventure for you and a career for you. And this is something which I was once lucky to talk with Angela Ahrens, CEO of Burberry. I asked her, how come you're the fastest growing luxury brand? And she said, there were two things. First thing is, we were the first to aggressively enter China. And the second, we're the champions of digital. And you know what? I have no clue about digital. And I said, so where do you have all these ideas from? And she said, every month I meet with the 5 most digitally savvy people in my company. And I list all these ideas. I ask them, what would you do if you could? And there were 30 ideas. Half of them is a piece of shit. Another 10 is interesting, but completely off brand of character. But there are a few pearls. I bring it to CEO, we make it happen, and we are rock stars. So be the person in the organization that comes with the idea, pushes, convinces the gray-haired managers, pushes hard, and the future will be good for you.
I would advise, to have brand metrics and really measure the right KPIs is one really strong advice, which I would point out again. And another thing is that what Martin already said, and my presentation really was about that. Really do think and spend time and money on the creatives. We often see that Facebook is treated like, okay, I have to, post a lot of things on Facebook. So if I run a campaign, a big campaign, then that's just another picture or just another video or creative which has, let's say, not an outstanding quality. It's not tested out organically or things like that. But if you spend a budget of thousands or tens of thousands of euros to reach millions of people in a single day, how much do you spend on a TV ad? So you should really care about what are those creatives which you actually show to those millions of people, because I show this example which has this huge engagement rate, but the average engagement rate of in Hungary is half of it, which is also double or triple the average online engagement rate. But With a good creative, it could be much, much, much more.
One phrase, Irish. Long phrase.
My one phrase will be, don't be afraid to try new things. For example, two sentences. With the bank, with our case study, it was the first bank in Bulgaria that actually used Facebook Premium, and we were able to convince them to try it. They were really happy with the results. They're going to try it again, but it took us so long because there's such a, scare of big brands to try new things and to be innovative. Facebook innovates all the time, so follow them.
Okay, before.
Wendy will close because you're the host, so Wendy will go first.
Thank you, Anna. So, the one thing that I want my clients to know is that Facebook is mass. Facebook in Greece is about 4.5 million people, and this is almost the 80% of the whole online population. So this is a massive reach. There is no client that would skip Facebook advertising. The second thing is that it has to be an always-on strategy. They are not. They can spend their budget they have. They don't have to have much money, but they have to have a strategy, and they have to remember every day that even on or off Facebook, they have to bring value to their customers' everyday life, and that is their client needs, even if it is on Facebook or even if it is off Facebook. And after all, if you do this, they can be creative also, they keep you engaged, and they can be funny because you read the insights and the results all the day, and it's what our mind needs to be alive. So thank you. See you next year.
Okay, so one mention before I give you my advice is the previous case study that I gave. The distance from releasing the campaign on TV and then posting the ad on Facebook and make the ad a premium format was a couple of days. So the advice is this: don't leave a big gap between launching your campaign on TV and then put it on Facebook. The smaller the gap, the more results and the better results you get.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. You've been a great audience.